Hi, I recently watched 1939's Son of Frankenstein, the third of Universal's Frankenstein series of horror pictures from the 1930s. It stars Basil Rathbone as the young Baron, descended from the main character of the previous movies, who has inherited the castle and ventures there with his family to take up his new position as Baron. But he takes too much of an interest in his predecessor's experiments and discovers that the wily old man, Igor, who survived a broken neck, is keeping the monster in hibernation underneath the castle, planning on using him to exact his own revenge on the villagers. Watching this was a strange experience because it becomes very obvious very quickly how much of it was borrowed by Mel Brooks for Young Frankenstein. The character of Igor debuts with this movie. This is the origin of the concept of Igor. And Bela Lugosi plays him as this bizarre, grotesque. It's a very fun, active performance. We also have the town police chief with the mechanical arm, which gets a lot of mileage. It's hard to know how much of it is meant to be genuinely funny, like when he flips it around his back, um, or uses it to put his darts into while he's in the middle of a game. But there's a lot of humour in this. We also have Boris Karloff in his final performance as the creature. Um, the pathos and humanity of from Bride of Frankenstein is sadly no longer present. The character is back to first principles as being a monstrous killer, but he's being manipulated by human forces in Igor. So it has an interesting dimension. The set design also is very impressive. A lot of it seems very influenced by German expressionism, very dark chiaroscuro set designs and looming figures. The breakfast room looks horrifying with these twin staircases coming down and these lions' heads roaring down into the table. It's very uh, almost Brechtian in how deliberately strange it looks. Um, there's also a surprisingly long film. It runs 100 minutes, which is, I think, about half an hour longer than either of the previous two Frankenstein pictures. But it never gets boring. It has exciting, engaging performances. It has some interesting ideas. It extends the concept of the Frankenstein creature in an interesting direction, and it unequivocally makes our main character a troubled hero. Frankenstein and his family survived the movie and at the end are hailed as heroes for their work, even though he had previously been very interested in extending and expanding his ancestors' investigations into life after death. It's overall better than I was expecting. I've seen some fairly weak Universal horror pictures. Most of their mummy films are quite boring. And even some of the later Frankenstein movies are dull. But this is genuinely engaging, interestingly designed, exciting to watch, with some great performances, and yeah, I think I'd recommend it.